It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish and Rotier. Snowy conditions today with a high of 36 degrees. It's currently 33 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Ton of respect for Italy. It's weird. We want to win. We want to win this game, even though our tickets punched to the quarterfinals.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Judge swings and misses, and Italy has pulled off a stunner. The biggest win in Italian baseball history. They shocked the United States 8-6.
On a television interview today, you seemed to indicate that you thought y'all had already advanced to the quarterfinals. Is that true?
Yeah, I misspoke. I was on hot stove with a couple buddies today and completely misread the calculations. We knew that Mexico was going to play Italy and then running all the numbers with if we lost tonight with the runs allowed and runs scored and outs. So I just misspoke.
If he misspoke, to me, his whole demeanor and his whole, like, he believed that they were in. I don't think that's I don't think he misspoke.
Whoopsie. You can't say that and then have the game you had and go, sorry. Nope, you actually completely went into that game thinking it didn't matter. That's why you were down 8-0, and that's why Team USA might not make it to the quarterfinals. Thanks a lot.
Unbelievable.
Fine. Stupid. So dumb. Happy Wednesday. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, the manager of Team USA. Speaking yesterday on numerous platforms, assuming they were already in the quarterfinals. They, Team USA, out of Pool B in the World Baseball Classic, laid an egg last night against Italy, lost 8-6. And it felt like they went into that game with their foot off the gas, which would make sense if your manager thought you didn't need to win.
No, it didn't feel like it. That's exactly what happened. He said in that interview with Hot Stove, Mark DeRosa, who we're talking about, by the way, he's the manager. He said he's going to try to get some guys some time off their feet, put in some guys that have been really great behind the scenes, give them some time since they already punched their ticket. He straight up admitted that that was the plan. At some point, we are to assume that someone said, hey, Skip, just so you know, we should really stop the onslaught right now because we're going to see ourselves not playing after today.
So the problem with that is somebody should have told him in advance. If those players,
how many staffers are on the team too? Like none of them?
All of those players went into that game just thinking they were all already in the quarterfinals. There's a lot of questions here.
Because that score was 8-0 before the 7th, and then it became 8-6. It definitely seemed like at some point someone tipped someone off to, hey, you guys do understand what's happening right now, right? And they did not.
Unbelievable. That's super.
Can you imagine if they don't make it now, which is a super realistic possibility. And I have read 35 different sources, tweets, messages on what needs to happen and what can't happen.
It's pretty simple when you really break it down. We'll do that when we play catch up in the baseball/Brewers portion of the show. But first, we got to go Packers. Here we go.
Packers.
Some news yesterday. Some good, some not so good. The Nate Hobbs experiment is over in Green Bay, which makes sense because St. Juice was on the way in. The interesting part about the Packers releasing Nate Hobbs, that's the report yesterday, was how much they're going to save in salary cap numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see these numbers, Josh?
I did. Yeah.
$14.1 million cap number in 27, $14.7 million in 2028. They paid Hobbs $18.2 million for 358 snaps, and essentially will carry $4 million in dead cap money in 26 and $8 million in 2027. He got injured a lot, and this unfortunately was a miss.
Mm-hmm. It was. And listen, misses happen, but you are judged by them. And if you look at what were the free agent signings last year, it was him and Aaron Banks. No, those were the two for the Packers. And one was restructured after injury and the other was cut after injury. So it kind of makes you think, maybe for as much as we want to say, hey, why aren't we going more all in on free agency? Well, maybe it's because we're better in the draft. So stick with what you're good at. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. We talked a lot about that yesterday and how splashes aren't really a thing. And sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. So onward from Nate Hobbs, but we welcome in brand new Green Bay Packers Sky Moore. And you guys, our guy Andy Herman absolutely nailed this. Listen to his thoughts on Sky Moore, and then we'll tell you when he said it. Here we go.
Only one wide receiver on my list, and he's not on here to be a wide receiver. But I do actually think he's kind of the perfect fit for what you could look for to add to this team. And that's Sky Moore. And the reason I want him on the team is for his return ability, just to be crystal clear here. He had 33 kick returns for 907 yards, a 27.5-yard average, and a long of 98. He actually had the ability to break a big return. And as a punt returner, 25 returns for 291 yards, 11.6 yards per return. Dobbs was at 6.3. The long for Sky Moore, 66 yards. The long for Romeo Dobbs, 16. Legitimate kick returner and punt returner, and somebody who can legitimately be a good number 6 or even number 5 wide receiver if you wanted to bump him up, or if there was an injury. He can come in, he can play.
Boom. Take a guess when that was. You would think yesterday, right? Like, oh, the news broke.
Oh, not with Andy. I was gonna say a week ago.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay. Yep.
Impressive work.
He's a wizard.
By Andy Herman and the Pack-A-Day podcast. He called it. That's exactly why Sky Moore was signed to the Green Bay Packers yesterday. Josh, did you see where Sky Moore went to college?
No.
Western Michigan. Do you know who else is connected to Western Michigan in terms of he went here too?
Who's that?
Matt LaFleur.
Oh.
So he had his radar up on a guy like Sky Moore, who went to the same college he did and didn't necessarily become the wide receiver they thought he could be, but they saw an opportunity to go, actually, look at this from a special teams perspective. That was a big deal, losing Keyshawn Nixon in terms of not being the returner anymore. CB1s don't return kicks and punts. Okay. Well, guess what? Who does? Wide receiver 6s. That's who does. Look at the rest of that wide receiver room, Josh, knowing that we officially lost Romeo Dobbs yesterday to the Patriots. He's not coming back to the Packers.
No, he got paid.
Does that worry you?
What? That Romeo Dobbs got paid?
That he's not in the wide receiving room for the Packers anymore?
No, because I assumed that was the case. And so, I mean, literally midway through the season last year, I thought this is going to be the last season for Romeo Dobbs in a Packers uniform. So it wasn't as shocking or stunning. And I think that they still have plenty of weapons in the wide receiving room. So I'm not worried about, there are way bigger holes or reasons to worry about this Packers team than who Jordan Love's throwing the ball to.
It'll be interesting to see how the wide receiver room shakes out, though, because there are 6 in there right now that have been with the team, plus Bo Melton. Bo Melton's not considered in the 6. Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Golden. Sorry,
Yeah, Matthew Golden.
Glitched. Golden, Savion Williams, Dontavian Wicks, and now Sky Moore, plus Bo Melton, depending on what side of the ball he's playing on that day. Do they need more receivers? I'd like to think not. So based on how the draft then, we're not going to be looking at wide receivers late rounds. We only have 7 picks as it stands right now. God only knows what this compensatory pick thing looks like down the road. And they could use those to trade into this one and trade up and all those things. But at the end of the day, they're...
And can they? That's the thing. I don't know that they can. The compensatory picks for that they're working on right now.
Well, we don't know what they are.
Correct, but they're also like all and we're going to get into this in the morning mind dump. But these picks and everything that's happening right now, these are all for 2027. So they can't be traded for this year. They can't in any way, shape, or form impact what Goody does in the 2026 draft.
But if Goody knows he has those comp picks, he can take other picks and trade them, is my point.
Correct.
So we know that losing guys like Romeo Dobbs or Elton Jenkins officially got signed yesterday to the Browns, I believe. There's a lot coming Goody's way. And it would not surprise me if he uses even some of the higher picks this year to get more late round picks, because from a wide receiver standpoint, I doubt we're going to look. Now, you watch, we'll draft 3, and I'll be like, what the?
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense. Anything else jump out at you yesterday in regard to free agency with the Packers, Josh?
No, it was more just, especially our conversation yesterday with Bill Huber. If you missed that, you can go back and listen on the podcast page. But that really helped me kind of try to get more in the mind of Goody and this front office and where this Packers team is at when they're looking at who is available. He's not going to want to mess with these comp picks as much as possible. And so now I'm focusing my attention way more when I see that it's not when a player's cut from a team. Then that's one that Goody might go after. Okay, let's keep an eye on him. So it's completely changing the way that I'm looking at free agency at this point.
The Nicolay Law Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Someone from the 414 texted in and said, the moves we are making in free agency make me feel like the front office is talking to the coaching staff and all are on the same page. They're being very deliberate with their signings. I would agree with that.
Yep, and that's a nice thing to see.
On to baseball.
Brewers
didn't play yesterday.
Did not.
But the World Baseball Classic did, and there was some fascinating audio from the broadcast about Bryce Terang. Listen to this.
Talking to Mark DeRosa, if there's anybody who has taken what was already high expectations and blown him out of the water, it's this guy right here, Bryce Terang. Mark said, if I was a GM, I'd be calling the Brewers right now, finding a way to trade for this guy.
Okay, screw Mark DeRosa.
Yeah, I mean, listen, screw Mark DeRosa for a billion reasons. First, you're an idiot and you don't know how to read the instruction manual on managing in the World Baseball Classic. And then you got to go and you're saying, hey, guy on my team that I probably didn't even know about, small market, one of these big markets, come get him. Get out of here.
Idiot. All right, so how does this shake down? Team USA loses to Italy last night, 8-6. Literally, it was 8-0 in the 6th inning. And somebody tapped someone on the shoulder and was like, this is bad. This is bad. Bryce Terang came in the 7th, pinch hit, double. The guy is a double machine right now. Definitely the spark. They cut it to 8-4 in the 7th after that double by Bryce Terang, and then got it 8-5 in the 8th and just simply ran out of time. They lose 8-6. So the way this shakes down, now that Team USA screwed the pooch last night and didn't necessarily have their own destiny in their hands after losing.
Well, it wasn't just the loss. It was how they lost. If they would have lost 2-1, it still wouldn't have been as dire as it is now.
So how does this shake out?
Yeah. So you're looking at the tiebreaker is what we're focusing on.
No, Italy needs to beat Mexico first. So Team USA advances to the quarterfinals as Pool B runner-up if Italy beats Mexico.
Correct.
However, If Mexico beats Italy, then the USA, Italy, and Mexico will all finish 3-1, and then the tiebreaker comes into play. So it's not dependent on the tiebreaker as it stands right now. It's based on runs allowed divided by defensive outs recorded in games among the tied teams. And the MLB standing page lists that the next deciding procedure after that for multi-team ties, which we could go into here, is allowed runs and defensive out in a relevant setup.
I can explain that. Well, I can explain it to you right now. That's why I said what I said, because that's why it comes down to the tiebreaker and how they lost. If the U.S. would have lost to Italy, but only given up 2 runs, then even if Mexico would have beat Italy today and made it a 3-way tie, they would have gone to that allowed runs, and the U.S. still would have been in the best position. But because they gave up 8 runs in that loss to Italy, it completely threw off the numbers and put them in a position to where now it either has to be Italy winning or Mexico winning by a whole bunch. It's not a good situation. Essentially, the U.S. completely blew this by, even if they would have lost that game, if they would have played who they should have played and kept it close, they might not. We might not be worrying about it this morning.
So what do you do if you're Italy? Because if you beat Mexico, it doesn't matter. You're out.
You mean you're in? If Italy beats Mexico, you're saying?
If Italy beats Mexico, Team USA advances as the Pool B runner-up, meaning Italy's in, Pool B runner-up, Team USA is in. So I'm saying, sorry, I said Italy. What do you do if you're Mexico?
Yeah. Well, but Mexico is just trying to win too. Like that's the one.
But it's down to runs, is what you're saying. I was told there would be no math. It's too early for all this math.
Well, so if Italy wins, it's over. It doesn't matter. They could win 1-0 and the U.S. is in.
Correct.
If Mexico is just trying to win. If Mexico wins, it doesn't matter how that goes unless Mexico goes up 4+ runs.
That's my point. It does matter how that goes because that would finish them in this tiebreaker situation. Mexico beating Italy, then USA, Italy, and Mexico would all finish 3-1. And that's when the tiebreaker comes into play based on runs and outs and all these things. It's just interesting going into this game tonight, going, all right, there's a little bit more math involved here. It's hard for you and I to try to break down. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you're Mexico, how do you approach this? If you're Italy, how do you approach this? If you're down, if Italy's down, what do you do? I can't believe Team USA did this. It's really mind-boggling to me that they put themselves in this situation because they misspoke. No, you miscalculated, bro.
Yeah, you're just stupid. Like that's why if this goes the way it absolutely could go, like do not be shocked. Do not be shocked if you wake up tomorrow and the U.S. is out of the World Baseball Classic. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, but it is definitely not like a 10% or less chance.
Trevor's troll, did you hear that? I can't be blamed for this one if that goes that route. Just making sure you heard that. Brewers related. Josh, it's 2 weeks from tomorrow is opening day.
Crazy.
It doesn't feel that. It doesn't feel like that.
Not at all.
We should probably talk about what we're doing. I have no news. Do you have any news?
I know that I will be at a baseball game. That's it. That's what I know.
More to come.
That's right.
Badgers.
We'll know today who the Badgers play tomorrow. There were some games that shook out yesterday in the Big Ten tournament. Maryland 70, Oregon 60, and Northwestern 76, Penn State 66. So none of that matters to the Badgers, though. What matters today is Washington and USC. So they'll play after Iowa and Maryland, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 Central on Peacock. And then Washington and USC play 25 minutes after that. We talked to Brad Davison yesterday about what needs to happen and what the Badgers need to do. It's a tough scout. They're going to have to scout both. And then once they figure out who won today, they'll get deep into the scout based on that team who we play tomorrow. That game for Wisconsin, number 5 versus whoever wins game 4 from today. will be 25 minutes after the first game plays, Ohio State and the winner of game 3. Real confusing. But at the end of the day, it's tournament play. It's officially March Madness. We'll watch the Badgers at some point during the day tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Brad told us that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But it is March. It's fun.
Bucks.
Not fun.
Doesn't matter. Not fun. Not great. Giannis still on the pitch clock. 22 points in just under 32 minutes. Bucks lose 129 to 114. The big story, though, out of the NBA last night was 83 points from Bam Adebayo, the second most in NBA history. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and some people are talking about how many free throws he shot. I mean, Giannis was even asked about it after the game. He said, no one in years from now, no one's going to remember how many free throws. They're just going to look at him at the number and say, Wilt 100, Bam 83.
Did you see what he scored in the first quarter?
No.
31.
Yeah.
31 points in the first quarter. There were people on both benches going, what is happening?
Yeah, it's, and that's one of the cool things in sports when you're playing against someone else, whether it be like we see it all the time in bowling, but like to where you just kind of sit back and you go, uh-oh, like this might be history. Like we might be a part of something here. This guy's got it. This guy's locked in. Same thing in baseball. Like if a pitcher's really on, you go, hey, this guy's locked in. They might have him go the distance.
We're going to get to anything else later in the show. We'll just call it that. There's a lot to talk about. Green Bay women's won their Horizon League tournament and are the first team in Wisconsin to officially punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. But when we come back in the I Have Questions portion, did you see the news about Max Crosby? Yeah, we have questions, all right. And joining us for I Have Questions, the Packers team physician, Dr. Mike Ryan, the guy that does the physicals. We have questions. Good news, he'll have answers. We're off and running, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
linebacker. But meanwhile, the Raiders have Max Crosby back in. This is a highly unusual circumstance that will create enormous ripple effects, and nobody knows how it will turn out now. Whether Max Crosby will wind up playing in Vegas, whether the Raiders will trade him, what the return in a trade for him will be, but no question that this is a setback for all involved right now, because the Baltimore Ravens essentially failed him on their physical. And my understanding is there were multiple doctors that reviewed his MRI scans. There were doctors that examined him, including Dr. Daniel Cooper, the Dallas Cowboys doctor that performed surgery on Patrick Mahomes and Malik Neighbors. Many teams and players rely on Dr. Cooper's expertise. And Dr. Cooper was one of the doctors that reviewed the images where the Ravens then felt compelled to back out of this trade.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. There's Adam Schefter talking about the Max Crosby trade that wasn't. Ian Rappaport put out yesterday, here's one way to look at tonight's events in regard to Max Crosby. The Raiders spent $281.5 million in free agency to up their team. And they just acquired one of the best pass rushers of the last decade.
I saw that tweet and I went, that is the most Trevor Thomas view of this situation I've ever seen.
Optimism, baby. But yet, boy, oh boy, do we have questions. Here we go.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. What a deal this became. In case you missed it, last night the news broke. The Raiders' trade of Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens is off. And there are questions about money and how this works contractually, because it feels like the Raiders maxed out their credit card, Josh.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Listen, the Ravens, though, on a Tuesday, had the biggest Take Back Tuesday in history. Like, we joke about takebacks on a Take Back Tuesday. They said, yeah, those 2 first-rounders, we're taking them back.
So as soon as the news broke last night, I immediately reached out to the Green Bay Packers head team physician, Dr. Mike Ryan, and simply said, we have questions, and we know better than to ask too specific of questions based on HIPAA and all the things that go into the privacy that one deserves. And so joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all, the Packers head team physician, Dr. Mike Ryan. Mike, thanks for coming back on. We appreciate you.
Trevor, my pleasure. It's good to be back with you guys, Trevor and Josh. Appreciate it.
Okay, bud. So the Ravens are having a bit of a morning this morning as they were shaping their team, no different than the Raiders. These things happen in the NFL. Can you help us understand not so much what happened in the physical, but just how this can happen in general?
Yeah, big news. Obviously, as you saw with Adam Schefter, he's all over it. He's got a lot of the inside scoop. And there's a lot of information out there. I mean, I think even through Adam, I think Dr. Elatrash, who did the surgery, put out a statement really to just kind of highlight what was going on. But to answer your question, a lot of what we do when we evaluate players is try to understand who they are and what they've been through from a medical standpoint. And ultimately, our goal is not to say, you have something, we can't do anything with it, is to understand, all right, how have you managed this injury throughout your career? Because almost every player at this level has something. And so then understanding that allows us to come up with a plan to move forward and really optimize this player's safety and health so they can perform and do their job. And really with that comes a risk analysis. And so really that's what these sort of exams come down to. And so sometimes based on the information that's at hand, sometimes the concern is whether or not this player is safe to play or if they feel like there's just some uncertainty where we don't know if they can. And that's what sometimes leads to those decisions. But a lot of it comes down to safety, really, making sure that they're safe to play and they're able to.
Dr. Mike, so we obviously played that Adam Schefter clip before we brought you in, and he brings up multiple team doctors from different teams that were in the physical. How does that work? How is it? Who's decided? Can you kind of walk us through that process of when a team physical of this nature takes place?
Yeah, so really, anytime players brought onto a team, there's a physical. That's. I mean, most physicians, most people when they join a corporation will do a pre-employment physical just to make sure that they're healthy. This is a different because part of a huge part of the job for an athlete, whether that's in the NFL or not, is performing physically with their body. So that is a standard sort of process with this. As far as who's involved, it's typically the organization's team physicians. And they have certain ways they like to do the exams, the analysis, and how they like to approach imaging. And then a lot of times, especially at this level, especially because it's a small community and we all know each other. 2 weeks ago at the Combine, all 32 team physicians, head team physicians, all the sort of ancillary staff, we're in a room together talking about all these sort of circumstances. So we are all very collegial. So there's no animosity really. A lot of it's an art, right? This is not a hard science in many ways. There's interpretation, there's different experiences. And so having these second opinions like Dr. Cooper, who's a fantastic guy, Dr. Elatrash, who's excellent, Leanne Curl, the head team doc for the Ravens, these are all fantastic physicians, top of the top. And a lot of this is very nuanced, trying to figure out what is best for each individual team based on these opinions.
But so is there like a team physician group chat that got formed? Like how is it decided who helps and who gets called and who they bring in?
Yeah, so in many times, there will be some agent involvement, right? A lot of the agents have good relationships with some of the doctors who will then, request a certain sort of second opinion. We also have different people who have different levels of experience based on their years in the NFL, based on specific things that they do in terms of their practice. So a lot of that is really kind of dictated by agents and sort of relationships. And as far as chats go, most of it's on the phone. Really, you're going to get the most information on the phone. Also, it's obviously HIPAA compliant too. So that's really where most of this comes down.
On the phone with us now, Green Bay Packers head team physician, Dr. Mike Ryan on Inside Wisconsin Sports, talking about the Max Crosby failed physical. At least that's what the report says in regard to the trade that was sending him from the Raiders to the Ravens that is no more. And that's a tough spot, Mike, when the team physician has to be like, I don't think we want to do this. Have you ever been in a position like that where you had to break some big news to the team and go, guys, I don't know? Yeah, we have. It's part of the job. That's why we're there. We have to walk the fine balance of, making sure that we can provide all the medical care in cases where athletes have injuries that need to be managed. And in certain situations where we feel that the athlete is at risk for playing a contact sport like football, or in other sort of sports, they have different sort of criteria. But yeah, I've had to do that, and it's never a good feeling. That the physicians right now are feeling, a level of sort of sadness of having to do that, but they felt it based on their assessment that was the right decision. So no, it's not easy, but in many ways we're doing it in the best interest of the athlete in a lot of ways for safety purposes.
Dr. Mike, how much of this though was available or should have been available or known prior to the new team physical? I mean, it's, with the media and all of the technology and money essentially invested in getting these players healthy, it's not like, people weren't already treating Max Crosby. So for this to be kind of that shocking news, someone had to have known and had this opinion prior to yesterday, right?
Not necessarily, so I think what I would say is that it's important for each team to protect the medical HIPAA privacy of each player. So I, as a physician on one team, I don't have access to any of the other information on other players on other teams, other than what's publicly available out there. So, until a player comes to see us and is physically in our area, I really don't have the information other than what each team typically does, which is they follow each player, they have scouts and then watch, but we don't actually have any of the hard medical information, whether that's imaging or operative reports, because players really are protected. There's certain regulations that say you can't just put all the information out there for all the teams to look at. That would be kind of a violation of the player's rights. And so we really honor that. So that's why you see in a situation where when a player shows up to a team, their investigation may bring up something that they personally believe is not something they want to pursue. And it's a risk assessment as well. And so I think that it's surprising, but that's how it works, so that the players are protected, so that all their information isn't just scattered across all 32 teams.
That is so fascinating to get the behind the cheddar curtain type of info like this. We're so grateful that you joined us, Dr. Mike. One more quick question before we let you go, because you're on your way to doing your actual job instead of just talking to us about doing your job. I did some research on if the Packers ever ran into this, and there was one really interesting anecdote regarding Brett Favre. So back when we traded for Favre, the first round pick to the Falcons, Favre failed his physical. People forget this. He had some major hip problems, and Ron Wolf pushed it through. What's that like? And has that ever happened to you? Not about a player per se, but just have you had the conversation and goes, guys, this is a concern, and somebody, the GM, the coach goes, whatever, they'll be fine. Oh, we might have lost him. Did we lose him, Josh?
We might have.
Try to give him a buzz back quick. I'm really interested on that question if we can. Dr. Mike Ryan, the Green Bay Packers team physician, the head team physician, joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports, talking about the Max Crosby trade that is no more. How fascinating to get the guy on the phone that is in charge of all things Packers physicals to talk about what can be here and what goes well and what doesn't go well. It was absolutely mind-blowing. And some of the information that he shared with us already, and we'll see if we can't get him back on the phone here on his way into the office this morning. But the idea here is the Packers have run into this in the past too. And the last question I had for him, if we can get him back, was what happens? Just cut me off. No idea what happened. I just got a text from him. I think we're trying to get him back on. He knows. All right. I think we got him. Josh, we got him?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. Sorry about that, Dr. Mike. No idea what happened on our end either. My bad.
No worries. So, what I was saying is that there are numerous examples, and we probably see this more than not, is that as physicians, we have the ability to do an exam and see imaging and make a rough assessment. But I will say there's nothing like the will of a player who is motivated to manage and work through an injury that you would suspect that on objective view would limit them. And so there are examples like that you mentioned with Ron Wolf and Brett Favre, that the assessment may have been that's a risk, but you have an athlete like Brett Favre, and there are countless other examples that you look at and say, well, this would be a big risk to the athlete in their future, and yet they have a ridiculous multi-year career, decade-year career plus, and they're Hall of Fame, Pro Bowlers. And so that's where this part is such an art. We try to define it as best we can objectively and provide numbers, but those numbers are always defied by an athlete's will and their overall athleticism and ability to compensate even with injuries that you would otherwise, you and I would be limping around with. So it really comes down to this idea that this is a different world, and the textbook is there, but it really doesn't apply in many ways in these situations.
Brett Favre had an injury report one time with a broken thumb, a sore shoulder, back spasms, and a pulled groin, and he was listed as probable. Not today.
Exactly.
Not today.
Exactly. So,
Dr. Mike Ryan.
Again.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Go ahead. You're good.
That just speaks to those athletes and their ability to overcome things that would leave you and I, in a bed for a week. So, it's amazing to see it. It's a privilege to be part of that.
It was a privilege to have you on the show this morning. The behind the chair curtain stuff that you allow us to ask and you answer is not overlooked. Super grateful,
thank
Mike.
you, Dr.
We'll
Mike.
talk to you soon, man.
You're welcome, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Dr. Mike Ryan, the Green Bay Packers head team physician, joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I love that stuff.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Listen, we were part of the interview, and I need to go back and re-listen to it because he gave so much good information. And I didn't even think about the fact that agents of players have favorite doctors. And so there's just so many things happening behind the scenes because I thought that was so weird when Schefter brought that up. And all these different doctors. I was like, why is that doctor involved? Oh, because the agent requested it. Oh, I wonder why the agent requested that doctor. So just brain opening.
It happens a lot with second opinions and who ends up doing surgery when they needed to. I've actually talked to Mike off the record about some of that stuff. It's very fascinating behind the scenes. I mean, listen, look how much money's involved with Max Crosby.
Oh, yeah. You don't think that this is setting up for a 30 for 30 documentary? You're nuts. There's
a reason.
Something happened yesterday that's going to be analyzed and picked over a million times to see what happened and what happens next.
There's a reason you and I don't get physicals before we take jobs like this.
Why?
And because we don't make anything close to
that. I was like,
no comment?
Well, I was like, duh. I mean, that's why. Not for other reasons. There's nothing else to worry about. That's my point.
He's the best. Dr. Mike Ryan. We appreciate him jumping on. All right. When we come back, the most electrifying sound of the day. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for
The most electrifying
sound of the day.
The most electrifying
On Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Elected to defer. It'll be Moore from the 2-yard line, and we're underway in Glendale. Sky Moore with an opening, and Moore on the run. One man to beat, and it's the kicker, Ryland. He'll blow by him. Moore on the move to the goal line, lunging and down at the 2.
And newly Packers acquired Sky Moore with a huge run, thanks to Fox. On the call is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Boy, oh boy, am I hoping we can play some of those highlights this season, huh?
It would be nice to have an actual returner. Like we used to have. I mean, we've had some great returners on the Packers over the years. Really, really good ones. One of them's on the team now. He just doesn't return kicks and punts anymore.
Well, and that's why, what did we talk about when Bisaccia left, right? Was, okay, but now we'll see, how does the Packers front office start to handle special teams? Do they finally invest in it? Where the spotlight is going to change off of the special teams coordinator and on to the front office. And, hey, look at that. We got a special teams guy.
In comes Cam Acord, and he's like, no, we're not doing it this way. We need to go get a guy. And a guy they got, Sky Moore. Hey, there's some more audio that we didn't get to earlier that regards around the Green Bay women's basketball team who won the Horizon League yesterday. Here's what that sounded like.
And Green Bay for the 3rd consecutive season and the 21st time in program history is going to the NCAA tournament.
And Kayla Karius, after that game, talking about the key player, the Horizon League player of the year, and the impact she was able to have in the game.
It's hard to even put this into words, but when we put this team together really last April and May, it was just, how are we going to do this? We had so many newcomers and we graduated 7 and I just really had to rebuild this thing. It felt like in a lot of ways. Jenna was the lone returner who had played significant minutes on this floor, and that the culture really had to be carried forward by her. And she had a lot on her shoulders this year, a lot of responsibility and holding people accountable. And it's not easy, but she did it with grace, and she just developed and matured right before our eyes.
Green Bay women's basketball head coach Kayla Karius will join us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, to talk about just that, how difficult it was for her to lose 8 of the 9 players. Jenna Geyer was the only one that came back that played from last year. She replaced 8 players that played, and still, for the 3rd year in a row, won the Horizon League tournament and punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Awesome. Congratulations to the ladies. Keep dominating.
She reached out to me and goes, hey, can you talk quick? And I was like, yeah. I called her and I'm like, aren't you busy with a net around your neck and having fun and winning championships? And she's like, no, I'm busy sitting on my butt on this team bus on the way back from Indy, who got stuck in Chicago traffic, as you would expect, and still was on their way home late last night. I'm excited. It's fun to watch. This happened to us last year, Josh. We were on spring break in Gatlinburg, and we walked in. My wife and I and our oldest son, our youngest, went and did some other stuff. # doesn't like sports. Walked into a Buffalo Wild Wings, and during March Madness, okay, all the games are on. And I was like, hey, can you put one of these TVs on the Green Bay women's basketball game? They looked at me with foreheads. Like, really?
Yeah.
I was like, listen, we'll sit at the bar. There's this little one right here. Nobody's watching it. I've looked. We're going to be okay. And so they did it for us, and we're going to have to figure out how to do that again this year. I'll pick and choose my battles in that category. And who knows? Maybe they end up playing someplace that's within driving distance of where we're going to be for spring break in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. If that's the case, we're going. Amanda, we're going.
She's like, I think you meant you're going. I'll be on a beach. Yeah.
Not in Gatlinburg.
Well,
no
okay.
beaches in Gatlinburg. I'll be in the weather looks brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 70s and sunny all week this week, last week, even hit 80s. Just pulled up the weather report last night.
No.
I have 40 this,
No.
30 that, snow here. I'm like, now it's my fault. It's my fault. I mean, we're going in the mountains. You get what you get.
Sure.
All right. The morning mind dump is up next, brought to you by Malat Meats. Lots to cover from free agency standpoint. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Ton of respect for Italy. It's weird. We want to win. We want to win this game, even though our tickets punched to the quarterfinals.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Judge swings and misses, and Italy has pulled off a stunner. The biggest win in Italian baseball history. They shocked the United States 8-6.
On a television interview today, you seemed to indicate that you thought y'all had already advanced to the quarterfinals. Is that true?
Yeah, I misspoke. I was on hot stove with a couple buddies today and completely misread the calculations. We knew that Mexico was going to play Italy and then running all the numbers with if we lost tonight with the runs allowed and runs scored and outs. So I just misspoke.
If he misspoke, to me, his whole demeanor and his whole, like, he believed that they were in. I don't think that's I don't think he misspoke.
Misspoke. That's when I would cough under my breath and be like, boom.
Absolutely.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. In case you missed that, Team USA beyond screwed the pooch last night. They assumed by their manager's direction, this is us saying this as opinion based on that interaction and what he said earlier, and then based on how they chose to man the field with their roster last night, that they were already in the quarterfinals. How about no?
Just the biggest blunder ever.
They lost to Italy last night, 8-6. And now it comes down to how Italy and Mexico shake out and if Team USA will, frankly, even have the opportunity to move on. It is embarrassing. We have more questions than we have time for. Let's just see how this shakes out. And if it doesn't go Team USA's ways, oh boy.
Oh, I mean, it's going to be, will it be the biggest screw up in like sports? Like this isn't even like you're just dumb. Like this is just, you were dumb.
To qualify it as one of the biggest screw ups in sports history may not be plausible because at the end of the day, the World Baseball Classic doesn't matter. It's just a fun event. It's a lot of pride. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like you lost the Super Bowl or the World Series or something along those lines.
But how do you not understand the basics of how you win the event?
Well, it happens all the time in terms of rules. I mean, it really does.
Rules, yes, but rules can get super specific. This is simply just, hey, what do we have to do to win? Every single day, shouldn't a manager be able to sit down with someone and say, what needs to happen today for us to continue playing tomorrow? What has to happen today for us to continue playing? Like, that should always be your first thought. And then you go and you tell your team, hey, we need to do this. I'm going to get you guys pumped up because we need to do this today so we can keep playing tomorrow. How does that not happen? Just, what a terrible look.
Perfect timing to get some things off our chest and out of our heads. It's the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump.
I have voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malat Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Josh, I'm talking to Matt, the meat guy, right after the show today. We're going to process a big old order of meat from Malat Meats to take down his spring break. I am jacked.
Atta baby.
What do you got to get off your chest and out of your head today? Don't carry it with you. We're a safe place. Shoot us a text or give us a call and let us know what's grinding your gears on this Wednesday morning. So, Josh, you had some questions and or concerns about how free agency is handled in regard to these comp picks and comparing it to something like baseball and Freddie Peralta, yeah?
Yeah, so, you know, as a fan and trying to analyze everything that's happening and everything that's already happened, at the end of last Packers season, we were told this team is it. We ran into the injury buzzsaw, okay, but we're going to come back next season, and we're running it back. We're running it back. We're going to have healthy guys. We're going to run it back. Okay. And then they go into free agency, and they're cutting the fat, which we said, you got to cut some of this fat. You got to get some of these guys off the field, replace them with better guys. Well, they were cutting the fat, and they're getting all these comp picks, okay? But the comp picks are for 2027. They're not even like we just got awarded the comp pick for this year. So
yeah,
one
singular 7th round. They can be traded, by the way.
They can once they're awarded. So at this point, we have, because of all of these guys that we cut that were then signed by the teams, we got comp picks coming in like crazy for 2027. We're going to have all the
max
picks.
of 4.
Correct.
Of 4.
You can have 4 comp picks for next year, but they're all for 2027. All of it's 2027. And I saw a few people having the same questions as I do about the mindset for this Packers team this year, because all of this is towards 2027. So much of the cap space that was cut impacts 2027. There's a lot of good things ahead for this Green Bay Packers team in 2027 as things sit now. And we talked to Bill Huber yesterday, and he explained how he said he would be very surprised if Goody wanted to go sign one of these guys, knowing he would be sacrificing those comp picks, not all of them, but those comp picks to go get a guy. That's not the way that this organization has done things in the past. And that made me think of the Brewers, though, because we didn't hold on to Freddie Peralta, right? The Brewers, we didn't hold on to Freddie Peralta. We traded him away saying, listen, we knew he wasn't going to be here anyway. And a lot of us were left saying, okay, but that was you thinking about 2027. What about 2026? What about right now? What about this team that won 97 games? Comparing that to the Packers, I'm saying, okay, you got a lot of comp picks for 2027. But what about now? What about this team that you said was Super Bowl bound if not for the injuries? Why aren't we being more aggressive and focusing on the now instead of looking at the draft picks and possibilities and openings in 2027? I'm not necessarily, I need to preface this, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm against keeping the comp picks and kind of going down this road that they are, but it's a question for me. I'm pondering the situation of why not go more in now, knowing that Micah Parsons is coming back, and if you truly feel like you have something here with this team, if everyone's healthy.
So where are you most confuzzled in regards to not doing what we think they should be? If you said that they were going to run it back and they've lost some players to free agency, which is normal, where are your concerns that you would be led to believe that the Packers aren't doing what we thought they were going to do?
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily that they're not doing what I want them to do or what I thought they would do. It's what I want them to do. Right?
What do you want them to do?
We've said it. We talked all day yesterday and the day before just about if the Packers are going to make a big splash, if they're going to go get this guy. We've said, like, can you imagine if they went and they got Hendrickson? Can you imagine? Oh my God. Like, knowing that's a possibility, and who knows what he wants or where it's at, but looking at those big splash free agents and then saying, yeah, the Packers aren't going to do that. Bill Huber coming out and saying, yeah, they'd have to lose comp picks on top of it. They're not going to do that. And I'm sitting here and going, okay, I understand the reasoning, but the reasoning is all future Packers, not current Packers. Like, is anyone else, like, is anyone in general, I guess, irritated or upset that the Packers aren't taking advantage of that cap space and going and getting a guy now to try to put him in 2026 to really push things over the edge, along with Micah Parsons, to say, hey, no, the Green Bay Packers are your front runner, and it's not even close. Instead of going 2027, we have comp picks.
In order for me to respond, I want to make sure I understand what it is that you want them. Like, it right now, they have $30 million in cap space. They have to sign all of their draft picks and still play the game with the players that are currently signed to the team. So what is it that you're looking for them to do that you don't think they're going to do, that you would believe would make them in a better position to be whatever it is that you're hoping they would be?
So trading away some of those picks that would be building for the future to get, and not even, I shouldn't have said trading because they can't trade them, but sacrificing them to use that cap space to make a big splash for now. Even
and
if
how would they, in your opinion, how would they be sacrificing them? Maybe that's what I'm asking.
Well, because if they sign a guy now, they lose the comp picks. They don't get to keep the comp picks no matter what, is my understanding. So it's if they go and they sign one of these guys that is a free agent that wasn't cut, right? That's what Bill Huber said yesterday, is that if they're not cut from a team and they just hit free agency, and then the Packers went and they paid, big loads of money for that guy, like Trey Hendrickson, they would lose some of those comp picks. If the person is cut from a team, then it doesn't affect those comp picks. But going and making that big splash, going after a guy like Hendrickson, isn't going to happen because they would be afraid of losing those comp picks, which those are picks for 2027 that would then probably, more than likely, have a really big impact in 2028. So you're really, that's what I'm talking about. Like, these moves, what we're seeing happening right now with this Packers team is all going to pay off in a couple of years. But should the Packers be more focused on this year and what they have as an opportunity now, and take a big swing at a guy to put on the other side along with Micah Parsons, or going to get a top receiver, or I don't know, take your pick, one of these big name free agents to be able to bolster up the lineup, the team, the roster for this year.
So let's break down this comp pick thing, because I think that's where a lot of people are stuck in understanding what the Packers could or should do based on comp picks they have coming for 2027 and what that means to the team today. And do they win some? Do they lose some? There's just a lot going on. In the NFL, comp picks are extra draft picks the league awards when a team loses more or better compensatory free agents than it signs the year before. I want to repeat that. They're awarded when a team loses more or better comp free agents than it signs the year before. So whether we sign one has no relevance to how many we lost. You can get up to 4, and it's just simple math, right? If you lost 4 and signed 2, then hypothetically you're supposed to get 2 comp picks. Those picks are typically slotted from rounds 3 through 7, and the formula on that is based on free agent salary, playing time, and postseason honors even comes into play. And not every departing or signed free agent counts in that formula. So that's the other kicker. You don't just get comp picks because you signed a guy and or lost a guy. A team with no net loss can still sometimes get a late 7th round compensatory pick if the free agents it lost were valued more highly than the ones it added, and a team can receive no more than 4 regular comp picks in one draft. It's not very clear, which is why they don't announce these things until after that season ends, because that's the only way they're able to assess the situation. So just the other day, literally this week, the comp picks came out for the 2026 NFL draft. And based on their formulas, the Packers got 1 a late 7th round pick based on how free agency went for them last year. The way they're handling it this year, I can't really connect a dot that says that they're worried about comp picks for 2027. If they lose a cornerback, which they knew they were going to cut Nate Hobbs, then they game one in St. Juice. If they lose a defensive lineman, they know they're probably going to add one in the draft. If they lose linebackers, they know they need to add one in a trade. So there's just a lot of back and forth, and it's super early.
But
it's super duper early.
But the thing is that, and this is what I'm talking about, is a difference, though. Yeah, like I understand the whole concept of how it works. It's the decision. It's the decision of what the organization wants to invest in. Do they want to invest in going and using that cap space that they just cleared to get a guy now, or do they want to worry about the picks that they could get and having a bigger draft in the future? Those are the two options. You can't have both, right? You can't sign a big guy and then also keep all your comp picks. It's not the way that it's going to go down. I want to get to the talking text line here. Nicolay Law fan talking text line 414-677-1250. The 920 says, Josh, Goody will stock up draft picks like he usually does and cuts or trade them in 2 to 4 years. Insanity. He doesn't do that with everything. 608, why do they need to make a quote-unquote big splash every year? This is just a tiring mentality to have every single offseason.
I agree with that.
Okay, well, part of it is that that's what teams do when you feel you're close. When you feel like you're one huge piece away, you can make a move like that, go all in, and then give yourself a shot. That's a way of putting a team together. So
to somebody else's point on the Nicolay Law talk-in text line, though, 414-677-1250, this is Dave in Brookfield. This all seems like a lot of worry on the first 2 days of tampering or trading or whatever it's called. We didn't get Micah until almost September last year.
Micah was a trade. He wasn't a signing.
We're not arguing the same thing. You just said they want to go all in. If they don't have the cap space to go all in because they're not done signing free agents, they haven't made a draft yet, $30 million doesn't go very far. And 20 plus of that was the raise that the salary cap in the NFL got. So if that doesn't happen, let's just say they're sitting on $10 million. That's nothing. There are opportunities to make splashes based on the current contracts they have and needing to sign contract players that come out of the draft. It's not that the Packers are stuck. It's just that they don't believe, based on how last season went, they have to make a bunch of moves. We talked earlier about Sky Moore. We lost Romeo Doubs to the Patriots. The wide receiving room is in a good place. Goody's bringing in linebackers. I guarantee they draft linebackers and offensive and defensive linemen.
Correct.
He signed Sean Ryan. And one of the things that Goody has said himself that a lot of people don't remember is that they've probably signed 5, 6, maybe more free agents this year alone. They just happen to already be Green Bay Packers. That's still a free agent signing, and we forget that.
Listen, I understand that. What I'm saying is that when Goody and this team makes the cuts that they have and are cutting, they are making space. They are making
what have they
space,
cut, though,
available
that
space.
Annoys you? Like, what am I missing?
I'm not annoyed that they've cut. I'm saying I'm looking at this from the standpoint. I'm not sure that you're understanding of there's an opportunity for Goody and this team to go and get one of these top free agents.
How?
What do you mean how?
How do they have? How? Josh, there's no money. There's $30 million in cap space. How are you going to go get a Trey Hendrickson with $30 million in cap and you have to sign all your draft picks? The math doesn't math.
Okay. So you're saying that so why do you think they cut all those guys? Why have that cap space?
They were over the cap. That's why.
Okay, so they did this just to break even. So then you're saying that
they have $30 million in cap space.
But you just said that's nothing. You just said that's nothing. That's
to make a big splash on day 3. Free agency opens today. I'm saying the math doesn't math based on what it is that you're looking for them to do in the current situation. As they sit today, their opportunity to make a big splash in a position that they don't necessarily have a big opening in. What position do you want them to make a big splash in right now? If I hear you saying they need to make a big splash, where?
I would on the defensive side of the ball. is what I would love to see.
Where? Like, you want them to make a big splash.
Yeah.
Tell me where.
Who's available still? I would have loved for them to go after cornerback and gotten the guy from Seattle. They didn't do that. He's gone now.
They got a cornerback, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yep, they got a guy that they said depth. It also didn't affect any of the. He wasn't. We had Bill Huber on. We read his whole report. He talked about it. He might not even be a starter. They got depth. Okay. And then yesterday they cut Hobbs. Okay. So essentially they didn't even add depth. It was linear. They cut Hobbs. They added St. Juice. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So it just was get rid of one, take one. Not a huge improvement, not a huge step forward. And I understand they're going to draft guys. Again, that's not the argument. I'm not saying this. I'm saying what he's doing now and cutting these guys isn't giving us more picks to try to fill more holes to make a bigger run in 2026. I'm saying that all of what he's doing now is impacting 2027. And I'm wondering if anyone else out there, which it seems like there are plenty of people agreeing with me here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line that are saying, I don't understand why they're not going more all in now, trying to clear guys out, not worry about those comp picks, go be more aggressive. And the thing is, they still could. There's still time. There's still guys out there. For example, we're talking about Hendrickson. He hasn't made a decision yet. We don't know. We've seen differing reports saying that the Packers have been in discussion with him. I love that. The Packers are always in on the discussion with these top guys. That's why it was so big with Micah Parsons, because we didn't even know that one was happening. But that's what I'm trying to figure out. We've talked about some of these holes. Bill Huber said yesterday, and I'm going to keep referring to it because it was a really, really good interview. But he said, if we don't have this figured out and they're not signing some of these dudes by Thursday, yeah, it's time to panic. Who the heck is going to be playing on the defensive side of the ball?
Josh, they're signing guys left and right. That's where I'm not understanding where you're frustrated, because they're literally doing what they're asking them to do. I just don't know that the guys that they've signed in your head qualify as a big splash.
Well, they definitely don't qualify as a big splash. But I'm saying beyond that, they're not. They signed Sky Moore. From the time we talked to Bill Huber to the time we're talking now, they signed Sky Moore. I understand it's Wednesday, but I look at the free agent lists that are out there. They're everywhere. You can go find them. In comparison to what could still be available, Andy Herman said that as well. If they were going to make a big splash, it kind of seems like they missed their opportunity. More and more guys keep coming off the board to where I'm sitting here going, okay, it seems like that's not the game plan. That's not what Goody's going to do.
Maybe that's the weird part about the argument, is that I did not have the expectation they were going to make a big splash. Goody came out and said, we have the guys and we have the team that it was going to take to get there. Last year was an incredible year pre-injuries. They have to sign Tucker Kraft. There's a lot of money spoken for here that just isn't showing up in the idea of signing free agents right now and making the quote-unquote big splash. And time will tell. Time will tell. All right, it's a Would You Rather Wednesday. Maybe a free agent or two in terms of conversation. We'll do that next, and we want yours too. The Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Team USA lost to Italy in the World Baseball Classic last night, while Bryce Terang started the game on the bench. Huh? Very confusing. What do Tim Allen and Tommy Wards think of all that? Find out tonight on Hot Stove Weekly from 5 to 7 here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network from Wisconsin this time. They're back from Arizona. All right, Josh, time for a little Would You Rather as we continue down the path of Packers free agency and getting to some of the reaction from the conversation about free agency. And maybe that's the first Would You Rather in my list here. Would you rather continue to build a deeper roster and make sure that we have enough guys to make impact, or make that one big splash and kind of put all your chips in the middle on that?
Yeah, and I want to preface, like, I don't know what I want. I know what I expect. I expect them not to make a big splash. Like a lot of people that are like, Josh, why are you this worried about them making a big splash? I'm just curious if anyone is. I will, full disclosure, I didn't even understand the comp picks until yesterday that they affected the next year. So like, that's what hit me. And I went, oh, that's interesting. So I wonder if anyone's looking at this and going, wait, why are we worrying about 27 instead of 26? I'm not saying that I'm personally worried about what Goody's doing right now. I think Goody's doing what Goody usually does. I agree with what Bill Huber said. But to answer your question, that's tough. I feel like there are too many holes. I feel like for as much as the team and everyone wants to say that they could run it back, I think there are a lot of areas of need on this team. More than I think the team was alluding to by saying we could just run it back. And so I don't think that you can really afford to just go and get one player, because you need a lot of players. I don't think we were really in run it back territory, personally.
So build deeper instead of the big splash. Is that what you're choosing?
Unfortunately, it's not what I want, but I feel like that's where this team is. That's what they need to do. I don't think they were just one piece away. They need a ton of help in cornerback. They need a ton of help on the D line. They need help on the O line. I don't think you're going to get all of that in the draft. Like, I don't think that you can just make one signing and then assume first year, rookie year, you're going to be able to sign and hit on every single guy that in 2026 is going to get you to the promised land. I just don't. That's an unrealistic view. So,
I hear you.
Does that answer your question?
It's a would you rather, buddy. 50-50.
Hey, would you rather have Bryce Terang be a Brewer for life, or Jesus Madej get that big old Churio contract?
Jesus Madej. No brainer. This is how we do it. This is the Brewers' way. If a guy like Terang, who the broadcasters came out and said yesterday, if I'm a GM someplace, I'm figuring out how to trade for this guy. We know that if Terang keeps it up, the Brewers won't be able to afford him. Therefore, let's use that money to sign Jesus Madej to a long-term deal like Churio and make sure we lock him up like Churio. I have meat on the brain, Josh.
Yep.
Malat Meats has a steak of the month called a hanger steak. Have you ever heard of the hanger steak?
Not until Doug Gottlieb.
So big hanger guy is Gottlieb. It is the perfect combination of the marbling of a ribeye and the tenderness of a tenderloin. But if you had to choose ribeye or tenderloin?
Ribeye.
All day.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
Give me the flavor and the fat. I just got a heart test done. I'm good, knock on wood.
Is that how that works? Once you have the test done, then you're good?
Yeah,
results don't matter.
Way.
I had the test.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to be said about the high-fat diet of keto, right? I mean, that's just what... Listen, none of us have any friggin' idea what we're supposed to eat and what we're not.
Just eat less. That's what I need to do. Hey, would you rather be at Brewers opening day or the Packers' first home game of the year?
Oh, Packers' first home game of the year, and it's not even close.
Really?
Yeah. Opening day, let's be real. Opening day for the Brewers is a rookie show.
It's a party.
That's my point. It has very little to do with baseball. Whereas the first game of the season for the Packers, we're in now. Game 1 at AmFam Field, I'd rather watch it on the TV than have to be there versus the Packers. Especially Lambeau Field in the early fall. Come on. That game matters.
No.
Game 1 of the Brewers, not so much.
I need opening day. It's a celebration. It's an annual celebration of the cold weather being gone, baseball, summer on the horizon. It's more than just about the game. I don't actually care about the game that happens that day at all. I need the day. I need to be there for the day. Huge party in Wisconsin.
It for the game. So based on that, then, Josh, opening day at the Brewers 2 weeks from tomorrow, would you rather have a big tailgate or just get into the ballpark?
On opening day?
On opening day.
Big tailgate.
So really the baseball has nothing to do with opening day for you?
Nope.
Interesting.
There's 162 games. The first one, it's not like the NFL where there's 16. It's way different. You're there to celebrate the end of winter and the start of a long journey and run of fun watching, brat smelling, beer drinking, good times. That's what opening day is about.
Yeah, you just completely jinxed the celebration of the end of winter. If it snows on opening day 2 weeks from tomorrow,
I'll still
drop.
I had just as much fun. What was it? 2 years ago? It was huge winds, rain. Everyone was wearing ponchos. Didn't matter. We all knew it was coming. Summer will be here soon because opening day is here now. That's what it's about. Hey, would you rather have the Packers fill as many holes in the current 2026 roster, regardless of what it does to their comp picks, or fill holes strategically with guys that won't impact future picks?
Judy loves his picks. I mean, a lot. And he was willing to trade 2 first-round picks to get Micah Parsons. I don't think he's as concerned about these comp picks today as some think he is. That's a long time from now in the NFL season. So I would say, let's go and get the guys to fill the holes now versus worrying about comp picks later.
I agree with that.
Josh, would you rather apples or oranges?
Apples.
Wow, that was quick. But you can't dip it in any caramel. There's no chocolate. Just an apple.
Just an apple.
Squishy or
no?
Here's a follow-up. Squishy or
no.
The
crisp.
Yeah.
Well, crunchy.
Apple crisp. That's apple crust. Yeah.
Honey crisp apples are.
That's what it is.
I mean, those are like sugar apples, though. Like those are candy, essentially. But
follow-up to the follow-up. If apples were as big of a pain in the ass to eat as oranges, would you rather apples or oranges?
Now that's a good question.
Because it has nothing to do with the fruit.
Right. It's about the effort. What's the effort I have to put in?
I have learned
it's a lazy man's
cut
game.
The damn thing open and peel off I don't care about whatever's left on the outside after you peel off the orange, whatever. Fiber, right?
All right. Would you rather have the Cowboys go back on the Gary deal like the Ravens did Max Crosby, or have Crosby end up in the NFC?
Say that again.
So
speaking of apples and oranges,
you either have Dallas comes out today and says, you know what? We changed our mind. We don't want Rashawn Gary anymore. You got to take him back, Packers. Or Max Crosby does not stay on the AFC side of things and makes his way into where he can, in some way, shape, or form, impact the Packers negatively.
Yeah, I'm cool. Come on, Crosby. Come on over to the NFC.
Yeah, right.
I'd rather have
Don't give us Gary
pick
back
that we somehow got for Rashawn Gary.
That's why I tweeted yesterday. I said, yeah, hey, Jerry, no takebacks. No takebacksies on the Gary trade. You're stuck with him.
Bob in Minneapolis on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250 on a Would You Rather Wednesday. Would you rather venison sausage or beef sausage?
I mean, I don't have the opportunity to eat venison enough, but it's always really good when I get it.
That is the only thing I eat in the sausage category. I think he's talking about summer sausage. Just had one yesterday. Got home from work, middle of the afternoon, needed to do some work at home, which is every day. And I saw a half a stick of jalapeno cheddar venison summer sausage in the fridge. Thank you very much. I cut it up, had it all laid out on a cutting board, going to sit down and do some accounting. And then my oldest son gets home and sees that plate of sausage and half of it disappears like that. And I looked at him and I'm like, bro, can I? Oh, my bad, Dad. I didn't know. Whatever.
Oh, that was. Oh, okay.
15-year-old brain. Sausage food.
I love it. Hey, so 262 here said he disagrees. It says keep Terang, make him the new face of the franchise. The only thing, I thought that was a really interesting one between Terang and Madej, because Madej's still unproven. But also, like, I don't know. Is there a chance we're buying too high on Terang at this point? I mean, he's been killing it in the World Baseball Classic, but we also remember how he finished the season. We were all super disappointed.
Yeah, but he was really good last season, too. And that seems to have found itself here in early spring.
I think I'm more agreeing with the texter. I think I would rather invest in Bryce Terang than I would Madej at this point if I had the choice between the two.
Would you rather have the Miz throw a fastball and pick an apple off your head?
No. The answer is no.
Or have the gold medal winning biathlon athlete shoot that same apple off your head in the same elements at the Olympics? So you're getting targeted at your dome either way.
Oh, God.
The Miz throwing a heater at an apple or a very, very good shot from a gold medal winning biathlon athlete. This should be very easy.
I think I'm taking the biathlon.
100%.
Yeah.
Have you seen Miz pitch?
Yeah.
What part of him is more accurate, respectfully, than a gold medal winning biathlon athlete?
Right.
None.
I mean,
the answer is zero.
Their missing is like by millimeters, not inches.
My head. The difference is not my head. All right, a little bit more Would You Rather, plus continued text reaction on all things NFL free agency when it comes down to the Packs. Back in a bit, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. 99.7 FM, WNFL, Green Bay and the Fox Valley. 7:10 the game in Duluth, Superior. 12:50 a.m. and 105.7 FM, The Fan in Milwaukee. And 93.9 the game in Wausau. Good morning to you, Wisconsin, here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, continuing to process the free agency world, as well as this crazy trade that got denied yesterday between the Raiders and the Baltimore Ravens. Earlier in the show, in case you missed it, go back. Remember, Inside Wisconsin Sports is a podcast. Just search Inside Wisconsin Sports wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Click follow or go to wisportsradio.com. Earlier today, we chatted with Green Bay Packers head team physician, Dr. Mike Ryan, and asked all of the questions about what goes into these physicals that Max Crosby failed, and therefore the Ravens were like, we're out on this trade. A fascinating tweet here from Adam Schefter a few hours back, a statement from Crosby's knee surgeon, who, in not direct quote, but paraphrasing here, Crosby's doing very well in the early part of his rehab and recovery from surgery to treat a significant meniscus tear and the related stress injury to the bone and cartilage in his knee. He goes on to say, we truly respect the work of the Ravens staff with Max regarding the contract physical exam. And we also understand the challenge the staff faces when tasked to provide a future risk assessment based on evaluation in the recovery process, as well as, the boatload of money that they were going to end up paying him and what that means for his long-term recovery. He goes on then to say in closing, at this point, Max is doing an excellent job attacking his rehab, and his knee is responding very well. We look forward to Max returning to his elite level of performance this season as planned, and for several more to come. The reason this is relative to the conversation is twofold. Number one, this isn't the first time this has happened in the NFL. And remember, it actually happened with the Packers and Brett Favre. Brett Favre came in from Atlanta, failed his physical, had stuff in his hips that our doctors didn't like, and they gave the recommendation, thank God they didn't follow it, Ron Wolf, to say, I think we should back out of this deal. I don't like this. And Ron Wolf says, nope, we're doing this. So go ahead and redo your exam and then pass him. And we're just gonna move forward. We're forgetting a little bit that our main guy, Micah Parsons, is coming off of an ACL tear. And we did the math. The date he tore his ACL, 9 months to the day, was opening day for the Packers. Game 1 of the regular season.
Sure is.
So there's a chance Micah Parsons starts the season on the pup. The other comparison here is Rashawn Gary was trending in the right way from 2019 to when he got injured in 2022. And when he came back from an ACL tear, he was never able to be the player he once was.
Yeah, not the same.
And so we pray, dear God, don't let that happen to Micah Parsons. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Capital amen.
We know that all the games in the NFL matter. We were talking about, would you rather open at Lambeau versus open at AmFam if you're a fan? But not having Micah Parsons, not only for all of training camp, but the first 4 games potentially of the regular season, is the most concerning at this time in my life.
Yeah,
when it comes to who's going to rush the QB for the Green Bay Packers.
And keep in mind, too, that when we're having these conversations about the D-line, we're having those conversations, including Micah, saying who's going to be there along with Micah. For 4 games, it's without Micah. On top of that. Well, and that becomes a whole nother conversation, too, of rushing him back and, like, what does those additional weeks off do for his, his health and recovery? And those are all things we can discuss down the road. But I would be very surprised if he's there for week 1. So that's why, to Bill Huber's point, it's a concern. The defensive side of the ball right now, the D-line, is a concern.
Jeff Hafley did come out and say that not only is he getting after his rehab, but he fully expects Micah Parsons to set the NFL record for quickest return after an ACL tear. I don't know how good he sleeps at night. Because if you're him and you're hearing, oh, man, he's going to be ready in 4.5 months, I'd be like, no. We have a lot tied up into this guy. Let's just make sure this is right.
I would be texting every day. How you doing today? How you feeling today? How's recovery going today?
If I was
different
Goody,
than yesterday, Good.
Watch him driving around that scooter at the Pro Bowl going, can we not?
Right.
Can we just look like a drunken, he wasn't, I don't know, but he looked like a drunken sailor on a scooter.
Nah, he was having fun.
Absolute blast. We've had a blast all season long with our guy, Doug Gottlieb, who will join us when we get back. It is a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year's. We'll recap the season with him, talk about what's next, how the exit interviews are going, and just celebrate sports, because this is going to be something that continues on, ladies and gentlemen. Doug Gottlieb will be here on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m., regardless of the college basketball season. We understand and we hear you loud and clear. That is a guy that we need on the show on Wednesdays at 8.
Yep.
Scheduled to join us at 8 a.m., Doug Gottlieb. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Remember that one time he said winter was done?
Oh, I sure do.
Punch him right in the face. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
It means everything. And look, last year was hard, man. Those 4 guys mean everything to me. They're like my little brother or sons, whatever. I told them, and I mean it, that whatever they need the rest of their life, I got them because they got my back. You know, it's the old military, I got your 6. And they took plenty of abuse online, in person. Nobody cared about us. The point is, we heard all of it. We absorbed all of it. And we just got in the gym and got better. And to answer your question, Trevor, it's amazing.
Doug Gottlieb, after the tough loss on Sunday in the Horizon League men's basketball tournament, reflecting on what it meant to have so many of the guys from last season, which was super difficult, come back and play for the Phoenix. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Scheduled to join us momentarily, that man, head coach Doug Gottlieb. I did everything he asked me to do, Josh. I sent him his linky.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him the heads up.
Yep.
I have a little bit of a worry about him joining us this morning because the blue text messages are green.
Uh-oh.
What does that mean? Does that mean he's somewhere without an internet signal? Is he in a plane? Did he forget?
Ooh.
Yeah, this might get interesting. Talk a big game. Talk a big game. Oh, yeah, every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Doug Gottlieb's going to join us, no matter what. We'll see.
I mean, that's what happens when the guy finds his way into your hotel room and sticks around for an hour and a half.
It was great.
Then his scheduled appearance, something happens.
Hour and a half, 50 minutes, and we had 3 breaks in there. He was great.
Should have been there for 2.5.
If Doug Gottlieb wants to hang out and talk sports, we're going to let Doug Gottlieb hang out and talk sports.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm going to text you his number, Josh, to give him a buzz on the backside, or do you want me to try to give him a call? Ready? You want to do rock, paper, scissors?
I'll do it.
You got his number?
So you go ahead, send it over.
All right, I'm going to send it over to you now. While we do this, did you guys see last night the end of the Horizon League tournament game between Wright State and Detroit Mercy? I'm really hoping Doug joins us. No?
No, I saw the final score. Yeah.
I was going to say, okay. The ending of that game was unbelievable, and I was really hoping Doug would join us so that I could ask him about the quote-unquote no call. At some level, he's going to have some sort of opinion whenever we chat with him next. Hopefully, it's just in a few minutes here as we try to track down Doug Gottlieb. The idea of that no call at the end, the block that happened from Wright State against Detroit Mercy with 0.5 seconds left to end that Horizon League game, the no call situation in that moment, I was like, oh boy. Now, it should have been a no call situation. The refs don't need to get in the middle of something like that at that point in the game. I think we all feel that way when we watch sports. The idea of a close game coming down to a call hurts worse than a close game coming down to a no call. Am I right on that? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Josh, would you rather, on a Would You Rather Wednesday, have a close game like last night's Horizon League men's basketball tournament final? Wright State wins 66-63, I believe.
That's correct, yep.
Wright State had a block, a layup, Detroit Mercy, block, half a second left, no call. So would you rather in a close game, if you're watching a sporting event, have a no call and let them play versus the refs intervene and now we're at the free throw line? I know it's hard.
Let them play. Let them play, and it's tough because you don't want that to be necessarily assumed to where then guys can get away with something. But from a fan experience, it's so much better to be able to see it play out and not end on the free throw line. And then, because then it becomes a whole conversation of let's analyze the replay, let's figure it out. It's just the the whole game comes down to one replay. So what? And a lot of times, even if it was the right call, then we still go, oh, yeah, no, he did. He got him. He did do that. Like, we're still disappointed with it. So I know it's not necessarily always the right call, but I'd love to just say, don't put yourself in that position, because at the end of the game, they're gonna swallow their whistle, and they're not gonna call it.
There's been a lot of those situations in college basketball in general. One of them had to do with Marquette just this past weekend. There was a no call at the end of the Marquette UConn game, and that's what Dan Hurley was real super loud about. And also a little chest bumpy, which got him in a bit of a trouble. I saw that he was fined. I did not see if he was suspended. Did you?
I did not see that either. And I would be surprised. That's why there's so much gray area here. Like, are they going to really suspend him before the Big East? Like, this isn't middle of the season stuff, where you can have him sit out a game. I would have been surprised if they did.
But even if it's just the tournament, I mean, that's where we ended with Doug. He was suspended for a late season game that impacted potentially the Horizon League tournament. We are struggling to get a hold of Doug Gottlieb. His phone's going to voicemail. The text messages are not blue. They're green.
I'm wondering if something happened with his phone.
Could be that. Could also
he had to
be
get a new phone.
Just Doug.
New phone. Who dis?
Could be Doug. We'll keep trying. We'll keep shooting him text messages, but nonetheless, hey, that was a really, really good run of him showing up on time.
Oh no!
Every single Wednesday.
Is this the end of the streak?
It is 8:08, and we don't have him. So I'm not trying to jinx it, but I feel like it's already happened. So we'll see. If he joins us, great. If not, we'll just continue talking about college sports. College basketball in general. March Madness is here. Back to Marquette for a hot second. They play tonight in the Big East tournament against Xavier. 5:30 Central Time. And that's good because Marquette played Xavier earlier in the year and actually won. It was one of the bigger wins they had this year, which were, unfortunately, a little few and far between. Marquette's the 7 seed in the Big East tournament. Xavier's the 10 seed. Do you think, Josh, that Marquette could go on a little run coming off a big win like that against UConn? Or was that ride the wave, baby? Senior day, 5-serve crowd, and back to reality?
Man, who knows? I absolutely think there's a chance, right? That's the beauty of college basketball. You never know. Look at already what we've seen from these smaller conference tournaments of these teams that weren't supposed to be where they are and are 5, 6, 7 seeds in their conference tournament, winning 4 games in 4 days to find themselves in the madness. You never know, but I would put it this way. If they won a game or two coming off of UConn, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be excited. I would be stunned if they made a deep run in the Big East tournament.
Which means if they did, let's just hypothetically play this out for a second. If they won the Big East tournament.
Yeah. What would their seed be?
No idea, but they have a losing record, right?
Yeah.
So that was the other thing that was kind of grinding my gears a little bit. And I was chatting with my son, Rhodey, about this. The Horizon League made some decisions and made some changes to their conference tournament. I want to see what your take is on this too. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk-In text line. I don't know if it was Milwaukee 3-ish years ago, but it was some team that was a lower seed in the tournament, went into the tournament, won the tournament, and the Horizon League sent a losing record team to the NCAA tournament. Pause. That's a no-no. That
Why?
doesn't make because it doesn't make the Horizon League look good. You can't, if the Horizon League is trying to get respect and people to follow it, it's a bad look if you have a team with a losing record go in. Doug Gottlieb just texted me. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's a good sign.
Hey, he's back.
And he's back. The reason it's a bad look is because you want your conference to be thought of as a competitive league, and you want the best team that you have to offer go into the tournament. And so they made some changes to the Horizon League tournament and how the games shake out. There's play-in games, and then that team plays the highest seed team, right? So the 10 and 11 played as a play-in game. Who won that? Cleveland State, I think. They went on to play Wright State. Well, they bounced right away. It was all but chalk with Oakland. The 7 seed, Northern Kentucky, who ended up beating Green Bay, beat Oakland. And so Green Bay and Northern Kentucky play another play-in game. So if let's just use simple math here. Let's just say the play-in game for the 10 and 11 is round 1. Round 2 is the 1 versus the 10, and so on and so forth. Then round 3 is another play-in game. I don't know if you call it reseeding, but it's the lowest 2 seeds left play again. And then the lower of that seed goes on to play Wright State, who's the number 1 seed. In this case, it was Northern Kentucky. Wright State beats them handily. Detroit Mercy wins their next game. And the finals are Detroit Mercy and Wright State. And listen, it was competitive as hell. Came down to the final seconds. But ultimately, it was the number 1 seed off to the tournament. I just find it fascinating that something like the Horizon League would have to cook up a way to make sure that they give the top seed the best chance. I also understand you want the top seed in your league to go to the NCAA tournament and give you the best look. But do they not understand that when it comes to March Madness, Cinderellas are where all of the fandom is?
Right. They don't. I've often wondered if there's something about like balance between trying to put out the best product and then keep it fair. I'm sure that's not an easy task to be done. But if a lot of times we've seen in the last decade, especially, that these leagues and conferences are selling out however they can to try to make the most money. And the number one way to try to make the most money and the best product is to have a Cinderella story. Allow that Cinderella to exist. So it's a very interesting topic for sure.
I think all of us could list off Cinderellas far more than we could list off the ones. Milwaukee was a Cinderella.
Yep.
Oakland was a Cinderella.
Wichita State, my Shockers, were a Cinderella. They were a 9 seed when they went to the Final Four.
All right, so is Doug behind the scenes? Do we
He's there.
see him?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's there.
We're going to take a quick break so we get the most time with Doug Gottlieb. So we're back in a bit. Doug's joining us just a little tardy today. It happens. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. DG joins us next. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Snow this weekend, like a lot of it.
Yep. And he's still alive, like the song is saying. For now.
Yeah. I have questions. Seriously, it like 20 inches? Did I see that? 15?
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah. What?
But hey, winter's over.
Winter's over. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Is he there?
He's
we got
here.
him?
Wait, 20 inches of snow?
Doug, is winter over, buddy?
I asked you. You guys are the experts.
And we said no.
I was born in Wisconsin, but the greater part of my life, I've been in Connecticut for. I was in Connecticut for. What was I in Connecticut for? 12 years, and then
snow's up there.
You get a lot of snow. You get those wicked nor'easters. And then I've been in California, obviously. What was it? 11 years growing up, and then the previous 8. So that's a lot. So yeah, I mean, again, I see the ice thaw on the bay.
Mm-hmm.
I see 60 degrees. I'm like, Punxsutawney Phil, you're wrong. I simply asked you guys a question, and you're like, no, not done. Not done. Okay, well,
are you in town? Are you in town this weekend?
I'll be in town tomorrow. I just saw, I popped out to California. I saw an unbelievable high school game last night.
Nice.
Harvard Westlake versus Sierra Canyon. Oh, holy cow. I mean, man, it's like a who's who of coaches, and you get all the skinny on everything that's going down. So it was, what a game. Oh, wow. And then got to go see a couple kids today, and then back in Green Bay for a couple days, and then we got spring break.
Hopefully your flight lands. All right. Doug Gottlieb, head coach, men's basketball, Green Bay, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We got to chat with you Monday, which was awesome. And did you watch the game last night? I thought the no call with a half a second left in the right state block was fascinating. Wanted to get your thoughts, not on the reffing, but more about the idea. Yeah, careful.
Is it
more about the idea of that game coming down to the wire between two teams, and then I guess let them play? Is that the best way to?
Yeah, let them play unless it's a clear foul, you know? And again, my thing is always, like, what is the general tenor of the game, right? Are we calling everything? Are we not calling everything? Are we calling? Because so here's where, and we try to teach our guys all year. And again, generally in college basketball, they let you get away with chesting guys. You move guys, and you'll get fans that go like, he's got his hands straight up. Why was it a foul? Like, because you can move a dude without even moving your hands. So your hands straight up, you actually get 20% is what officials say. You get 20% movement, you know, kind of give or take. Our issue is always when guys drive, you know, there are teams in which they hip you. They put their hand right there on your hip, and they stop you, and then they put their hands out and they don't call anything. Whereas we're trying to teach our guys to make them where they see your hands, and if you're going to bump them with your hips or your bodies. I mean, again, I had no problem with how the end of the game was officiated. I told Mark I thought he's done an unbelievable job, but it's really hard to watch those games when you lose.
Who's Mark?
Mark Montgomery, head coach of Detroit. And I think both of us, Clint Sargent's done a great job too. I mean, think about Clint. I mean, he lost easily his two best offensive players, you know, like 36 points a game. And when we talked, he's like, yeah, we were so soft last year. I was like, you think you were soft? It's like trying to top each other, right? But he built a really good mix, you know, and Mark did not like his team at all last year. He brought back a bunch. And obviously his stud point guard, and Nadu's a stud shooter. And he built it back really quick. But it's hard to watch because you're like, that should be us. We can win this game.
Yeah.
It's just hard, you know? I'm not planning to play them again this year. So I didn't watch the semis for that specific reason. And like I said yesterday, that game was going on, and I was watching it on my phone while I was watching a high school game. So, but
To answer your point about the Cinderella thing, what the Horizon is doing is, I just think they kind of outsmart themselves a little bit. They wanted to bring more teams to Indianapolis. They feel like it's more of a conference tournament when you have 5 teams instead of 4. And next year they'll bring 6 because we add in a 12th team. Right? Next year it'll be I think it'll be a regular bracket. And then there'll be a play-in, a reseed as well. I think that's part of the plan.
Northern Illinois.
Yes, Northern Illinois joins the league, who doesn't have a coach. So they'll have a new coach. Probably be somebody, I would guess it'll be somebody that we know, whether one of the talented Division II coaches or one of the OVC coaches. I'll be interested to see who they hire. But the point is that they kind of set this, hey, this is what we want to do. It's different, creative. It just sucks to be that team. You know, Rudy's back was messed up. If we had one more day, he's probably fine, or he takes a shot and nobody knows. Northern Kentucky's a really hard matchup for us because they are so much more athletic than we are. And but we did beat them twice. There's no excuses there. We just didn't play well offensively and couldn't stop them defensively. I mean, that's generally how you get beat. But yeah, I mean, if we could avoid that game, great. But I actually do think that in a double round robin, I've said this and I'll say it again. Now, we won't have a double round robin next year. We don't have Oakland coming to our place, and we don't go to maybe NKU. I can't remember. But in a double round robin, if you win the league, you should go to the tournament. Because, Josh, your point about those Cinderellas, now it's not always the case. George Mason was the 3rd or 4th best team in the CAA that year, right? And they went all the way to the Final Four. VCU was like the 3rd team in their league when they went from first 4 to Final Four. But generally, the best team wins your league, right? So that gives your league the best foot forward. And then the league representative becomes the Cinderella. They're not the Cinderella because they were the 4th seed in your league. There's all kind like the Wichita State team you're talking about.
Yeah, my Shockers.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Baker didn't play half the year. You know, their starting center, I forget the starting center's name, but he had a heart issue. He wasn't even supposed to play, so he missed early in the season. Like, they had a bunch of different kind of moving parts, and it all came together, and they won Arch Madness, and then they beat Pittsburgh and Gonzaga.
Arizona, or Gonzaga,
Pittsburgh and Gonzaga. But the point is that I understand that we all think we want Cinderellas, and being in the Horizon League, why wouldn't we? But it does stand to reason that the best team in the regular season should give you your best chance to win in the postseason. Sometimes context does matter, and sometimes, Cale Robinson didn't play when we played them the second time, right? He hits 4 first-half threes. If he ain't playing, they ain't winning. So he hits 5 threes for the game. So, were they really better than their record? Probably. But again, my thinking would be the best teams deserve the best opportunities to get to the tournament, because that means the regular season matters more. And you get lots of people who say, hey, regular season college basketball doesn't matter. I disagree. And the Horizon League does stand on their business, as the kids say.
I wanted to ask you, Doug, and from our conversations we've had with you, you've made it very evident that you are aware of the rules and how things work within the Horizon League and college basketball. We found out yesterday that Mark DeRosa is not aware of how things work in the World Baseball Classic. If you hadn't seen all this, he went on MLB Network on Hot Stove and essentially said he was going to give guys a breather because they had already punched their ticket. Then they go and they get whomped by Italy. And then he comes out and says, yep, I misspoke. I miscalculated. And now they're in trouble. How does that happen? How does that happen with a coach? Like, I'm talking to a coach. How does a coach get to that point? Are there not processes in point?
It's run differential. Is that what it is?
So the tiebreaker, if Italy loses and all 3 teams are 3-1, it'll come down to tiebreakers, which include runs allowed. And so because the U.S. didn't just lose, but they gave up a lot of runs in that loss, it could keep them out of the next round of the World Baseball Classic.
Oops.
I mean, look, this is not like it's not like your Apple update, right? Your Apple update, nobody reads it. You just click it, right? That's not what this is. This is the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
That's a pretty big F up. Yeah. I mean, you know, it is a lesson you only learn once. Unfortunately, the hard way.
But I mean, aren't there also like there's staffs? We talk about how many guys are on a college team.
Yes.
How did no one be able to say, "Hey, coach, just want to make sure you saw, like, this is still a possibility." Like, how does that completely go under the radar this far? And then I asked Trevor, I said, is this not from a just obvious looking at all the different people that had an opportunity to stop it standpoint, one of the biggest F-ups, to your point, in sports?
It's a pretty big one. It's a big one. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I can't believe they didn't know about run differential.
He never came out and admitted that. He didn't admit that.
Right.
but
He
boy,
misspoke.
Did it seem like
he
it.
misspoke.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he didn't know. I'm sure he didn't know. Really? Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, I don't believe sports is rigged, but if I'm running the World Baseball Classic, I absolutely rig it, because otherwise you want to talk about nobody caring, right? Here's the World Baseball Classic with Italy and Japan.
Yeah.
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 Doug Gottlieb, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It's like somebody's flat like beep, 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 beep. You think people didn't care about baseball before? Holy cow.
That's right.
All right, DG, major guest on the show tomorrow. I want to make sure you knew this. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, major guest, Kayla Karius.
She's awesome.
Head coach.
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing. We chatted last night on their way home. Wanted to make sure she knew that we were excited for her. I know you are too. How cool is it to have both Green Bay teams in Indy and to have the women punch their ticket?
Well, we were the only school to have both teams there. And, I mean, you know, obviously we didn't stay long at the party. I don't look, none of these jobs are easy, right? Like, it's not easy to take over and you have like maybe 5 guys in your roster. It's the middle of May. You're on APR probation. You have no money. And yeah, that's really, really hard. Okay. But it's equally difficult, I believe, to take over for a legend. Last year, have a senior laden team who, like, I mean, their issues, I don't know if she'll say it, but like, she was trying to coach them differently. And they were just, for a portion of time, doing their own thing, like what they used to do with Borsteth. And so it was kind of a gentle meet in the middle, right? And then this year, they go out and they add, 7 new ones in the portal. And it wasn't always perfect. But what I marvel at is she carries a different burden than I do. Now, I carry the burden, one, of my name and of last season, and of the fact that I've been, you know, a college basketball analyst, a TV commentator, a radio host. So, you know, people think that I'm some hot taker and that I'm basically a podcaster coaching a basketball team. That's the burden I carry, right? Mm-hmm. She carries the burden of expectations, you know, expectations. Nobody cares. That girl, Maddie, is a hooper.
Yeah.
Hooper. I know she didn't play great yesterday. She was really good. We watched the semifinals, really good. She's just she's wired differently, and I think they're trying to get her another year, which would be amazing, because she was at Michigan State. I think she played like 4 minutes the whole year. But what Kayla does to my first agent in broadcasting, Steve Hers, he used to say you need to have social jujitsu, and I was like, man, that is a brilliant way of putting it. You know, you're just kind of moving with everything around you, right? So KB's still around, right? And she loves it. He mentor coach, but not everybody rolls that way, right? Not everybody wants the old coach around the building telling you what to do, but he's still around. He's like their quasi GM. Their relationship's amazing. And then, you know, Green Bay fans expect them to win, right? Everybody expects them to win. Like, you expect them to win every game by a lot. Like, that's just not how it works. And she handles it with poise, grace, confidence. She's a hell of a ball coach. They were down 2 at half, you know, They didn't lose their mind. They just came out, executed, won a championship. She's awesome. She's big time. We're lucky to have her for as long as we have.
The other non-basketball story that I want to make sure I get in with our time with you today, DG. So Max Crosby was going to Baltimore, and then they said, nah, never mind. Send it back. Give us our picks. And so I want to get your thoughts on that. But then also this morning, Adam Schefter announcing that the Ravens and Trey Hendrickson have reached agreement on a 4-year, $112 million contract. So they say, well, medically, I don't know. He might not be ready. Send him back, and then don't have to get rid of any picks and sign Trey Hendrickson. What is happening?
It's called showbiz, not show friends. Right? I mean, brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely, positively brilliant. Brilliant. By the way, you guys didn't, Josh, you're too young. You didn't listen to my radio show. So I'll give you a little radio segment I always used to do. It's called The Rabbi in the Room. Okay, you know what the rabbi in the room is? Everybody needs a rabbi in the room. Everybody needs somebody to swear by them. And when you take a new job, you always want to bring somebody with you, right? It happens all the time. It wouldn't surprise me, Jonathan Gannon, right, to bring guys ultimately with him that played for him for the Eagles or played for him for the Cardinals, right? Guys that know the system, bought in, culture guys. You don't even have to tell him about a play. He knows everything, right? So, I mean, that's what happened with Malik Willis, right? Had a rabbi in the room, right? GM comes from the Packers, and they get rid of Tua. And by the way, you want to talk about brilliant, right? They get rid of Tua. Tua's now with Atlanta. I love that move for Atlanta. I don't like Tua, but Tua indoors for like $2 million.
Yeah,
great.
vet minimum. Yeah.
Great. But you got to have a rabbi in the room. I don't know what. I mean, I'll take it at their word that Max Crosby failed the physical, but the reality is what probably happened. You made that trade, and Trey Hendrickson's agent's like, you didn't need to trade at all. Trade come to you right now. I'm like, really? Yeah. Okay. Well, give me a day. Give me a day.
Jeez.
I mean,
it's just
that's all with
that's
the
the
rules,
biggest,
right?
That's
And
the
it's
biggest
legal,
overturned
right,
trade since the Chris Paul trade, right? Right. Since the Chris Paul trade, that's the biggest overturned.
It has to be. It's nuts, to Trevor's point, that all of this, like, there's no fine for this. There's no slap on the wrist. There's no loss of picks for them doing this. All of this was a legal move from Baltimore.
Well, here's the thing. We'll know it's legal, that it's kosher, if we never see the medicals, right? Because the only way we'll ever see the medicals is if the side that failed it decides to, right? If Max Crosby shares his medicals and says, hey, here's my medical records, there was nothing wrong, this is complete BS. But I mean, and then so much of this comes back to the fact they didn't play him late in the year as a healthy scratch and said his knee was hurt, then he puts on video that he's playing hoops at his house, and like, oh, he's never going to play for the Raiders ever again. Right? So then they had to deal him. Then they dealt him, and then this happens. It's nuts. By the way, I love that window, the legalized tampering. Is that where we are with the portal right now? Legalized tampering?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Good point.
We're not violating that. We're not violating that.
No, we're not.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. But we can do, Trevor? You know what we can do?
What can we do?
We can do things like, hey, here's the deal. There are going to be players entering the portal, and just understand, we don't want you if you want to have the best basketball experience of your life playing in Green Bay. We don't want, if you're not interested in the best fan support in the Horizon League, okay, if taking your game to a higher level of efficiency, if connecting yourself with connected coaches are going to help you in your personal and professional career, okay, be with a great group of guys, have an unbelievable summer of improvement, play a competitive schedule, want to win the Horizon League, then we don't want you. If that's not what you're looking, we don't want you. It's okay. We can do things like that, right?
All right. So the assessment then at the end of the season, the conversations, the honest conversations are ongoing. But last year, you used the turnaround in the program to be a recruiting effort.
Yeah.
What are you going to say this year?
Well, I mean, if you look at where we went from, think about how much attention we got going from crummy to good. Imagine when we go from good to great. You know,
Boom.
I know if Rudy doesn't cramp and we don't lose our minds, we beat Robert Morris. You know, forget about the officiating and the fact that Milwaukee's free throw rate in the second half was 81%. 81% free throw rate. Just for perspective, we have the highest free throw rate in the Horizon League, 41% for the year. They shot 81. That's still not why we lost the game. You know, I got to do a better job. Timeouts, getting it situational. We got to make better decisions. And then Detroit, again, we missed layups. A couple of calls don't go our way. We win any of those games, we're playing the semis, we're playing the finals, right? So we're that close. But we have to get better because you have to assume everybody's going to get better. So if you look at how we evolved year 1 to year 2, imagine what we want to do from year 2 to year 3. And everybody in GB is on board. And the whole question is, the guys we recruit, are you on board? Do you want to go from good to great? Or are you okay just trying to chase a check? And, you know, we had lots of guys turn us down, and they had good years, but they didn't capture anybody's attention. Ours did. If you're about that and about a coaching staff that's going to be pour into you, you look at how guys improve. That's the big thing. How our guys improve while they're in Green Bay. If you want that and you want to get to your next stop, professional basketball or even another college, this is the place for you. So then the narrative doesn't change. Obviously, the challenge of, do you want to be part of the greatest turnaround story? But you want to be part of year 3, where now the expectations are higher. Great. That's what we want. We want people who want to come in, want to do the work, understanding the culture that we have established and the non-negotiables that we approach every day with.
Doug, the last time that we had you on the show on Monday, Trevor had asked you if this was the end of the season or if you guys were going to be playing in any tournament, and you said it was going to depend on how Rudy was doing. Do we have any update on if the CBI is in the future, or if that's it? You done?
We're done. CBI invited us, collective decision. We're done. But most of it is, you know, if Preston Rudiger doesn't feel like he's going to be 100%, then I mean, again, I don't. It's going to take years to dig out of 4-28 in terms of my record. So I'm not chasing 20 wins. Sorry, Scott Perry, who told everybody we're winning 20 games. You know, I'm bummed how it ended. We didn't play well, and they played awesome. They shot the hell out of the ball. But sometimes you got, like, you sit at that card table and you're looking at a stack of hundreds and you're like, man, if I just, all right, I know I've been betting 25 a hand, and occasionally double down, but if I bet 500 a hand, just one, like, no, walk away from the table. Sometimes you got to walk away from the table, right? You got to
fair enough.
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Every gambler knows. Every gambler knows.
That should be lyrics to a song.
Every gambler knows the secret to surviving is knowing when to walk away and know when to run. Right. The best that you can hope for is to die your sleep.
Officially comes to an end. DG, this was an awesome season to have you on every Wednesday, and we shared with people right before we went to break at the top of the hour. We said, and Doug Gottlieb continues at 8 a.m. every Wednesday from here on out, and then you're not here. So
you're here now. That's okay.
You're here now.
So you want me to do next Wednesday?
No, next Wednesday we're all off. That's where I was going with this. So you're on spring break. Josh and I are on spring break. So next week we're going to take off. But then
wait, hold on. Again, what?
We're off.
This is like an accountant taking off of, tax day. You're going to take off?
I know. It's terrible timing with March Madness. It's spring break. Yeah, I do think. I understand. I'm aware.
You can do it from anywhere.
I know, but family time's important. Hashtag boundaries. Sorry, guys. We'll talk about March Madness when we come back.
No, it doesn't work that way.
You want to host?
I may have to.
Do you want to come in on Tuesday? I'll be here on Tuesday.
I'm definitely not coming in. I'm going to be in Cali. I'm not coming in. So, but I'll plug in. I mean, I got a Comrex. I got a microphone. I got a laptop. It's not that hard.
I will send you a linky. on Tuesday at 8 a.m. I will send you a
No,
linky,
I'm
and we will
serious.
talk to you on
Like,
Tuesday.
like Trevor, like hold on, bro. You're building something really good here,
I know.
right?
So it's important. Family, listen, DG, you got
I'm not
kids.
saying family time's not important. Are you guys going somewhere?
Yes, we're going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Are you doing like a reenactment?
Yeah.
No, just
God, that
going
would be
on
hilarious.
going on vacation. The timing's awful. I'm first in line to say that sucks. It sucks. I hate it. But listen,
You're going,
we only have.
Hold on. Wait, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. What? Like, you're not doing a Civil War reenactment.
We're not. We're just going on vacation.
What's in Gatlinburg? I'm fascinated by this. What's in Gatlinburg, Tennessee?
Don't knock it till you try it, bud.
Yeah,
Gatlinburg's
it's okay.
a blast.
Pitch me on it.
Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, the Smoky Mountains. If we had to choose between mountains and beach, we'll choose mountains. We are mountain people, so we'll spend some days in the mountains, lots of days in the cabin, and just taking in March Madness together as a fan. I mean, we're just.
So you are going to watch the games. You are going to watch sports.
Yeah. Of course.
But that doesn't take away from family time.
No, it's family right next to me.
Why can't you do the radio show with family right next to you?
Because that's not vacation then, is it?
I love
but you're watching the games. You're like mountains, outdoors, nature, basketball. I'm just saying there's a bit of a contradiction there. I think Josh notes the contradiction there. Like, look, you do you.
I'll talk to you on Tuesday, DG. It'd be great.
Hey,
give you a call.
My ex-wife is still pissed. So my son's Hayes' birthday is March 19th.
Oh, okay.
Was the first day of the tournament that Steph wasn't in when he went to the NIT and they played St. Mary's. Anyway, so I was at the hospital and we had the baby and we saw the baby and then I went to ESPN and he was on TV that night. And I'm like, this is the greatest. Like my work was done 9.5 months ago, right? I am not needed in the hospital, whatever. Still not out of that doghouse.
No.
But if your family's right there, family's right there. But the dream is to play in the NCAA tournament on his birthday and make it up to him next year. That's the dream. That's the goal.
Oh.
All right. Well, apparently you might jump on next week. You might not. But either way, we'll talk to you in 2 weeks on Doug Gottlieb Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. We love you, man. We'll see you soon. Doug Gottlieb, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Guilt trip and a half.
Yep.
We're back in a second inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloft up next here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. We bring in Rami Makloft
Morning,
to talk
boys.
about what's coming up. I would imagine you're going to have a conversation or two about what just happened in the NFL between Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, the Ravens, the Raiders. Holy mother.
Crazy. And you know what? And Trevor, you were saying the other day you don't like the legal tampering period. That's what opens the door for crazy stuff like this. And quite frankly, I'm here for it. Like I don't know if
this like every time my wife when she gets on me because I go, how do you watch this Real Housewives stuff?
Yeah.
And then these type of stories break in sports, and she goes, "This is your Real Housewives." 100%.
100%.
I'm so committed and jacked for these juicy storylines that are presenting themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
This is 100% our reality shows, our soap operas, like whatever you want to call them. And I'm here for it, especially as a quote unquote content creator. Hey man, this is the slowest time of year. Give us something to talk about. You know what I mean? I'll be totally transparent about that. So I think the legal tampering period I already thought it was great. And this just, you might think it supports your case, Trevor. I think it supports my case about how great the legal tampering period is. I'm here for it.
And the loopholes have been found. So some news has been made. I'm sure you guys will chat about that and more. 9 to noon with John Kuhn, Rami Makloff. Is just you today?
Yeah,
And
John is in Hawaii for the rest of the week. He's back on Monday.
speaking of weather, I found out yesterday that Hawaii's got some serious weather.
Do they
that's
really?
happening out there? Look it up.
Really?
Like crazy rain.
Oh,
Like
wow.
tens of inches of rain. It's I only know that because my in-laws are out there as well.
I'm going in August for my first time. I can't wait.
Never been.
It's one of those bucket list vacations that I've always wanted to take. So looking
All
forward.
right, 9 to noon. John Kuhn, Rami Makloff, Brandon Snide. They're up next here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Our thanks to the Packers team physician, Dr. Mike Ryan, and Doug Gottlieb joining us this morning. Kayla Karius punched a ticket. She'll be here tomorrow. Back on the air with Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See you tomorrow.
Because we're not done yet.